In today's fast-paced world, many people find themselves haunted by past mistakes. Whether it's a wrong decision, hurtful words, or actions they regret, these memories can linger in the mind and prevent people from living fully in the present. The good news is that there is a way to let go of these regrets, and Buddhism offers profound wisdom on how to stop worrying about past mistakes. The Buddhist teachings emphasize the importance of living in the present moment and cultivating mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom. By understanding the nature of suffering and how to transform our minds, we can free ourselves from the shackles of past regrets and move forward with peace and clarity. In this teaching, we will explore how Buddhism helps us let go of the past, heal from mistakes, and cultivate a mindset of acceptance and growth. 1. The nature of suffering and the mind. Buddhism teaches that suffering is an inherent part of the human condition. We experience suffering through birth, aging, illness, and death, but also through the attachment to things that are fleeting, such as relationships, material possessions, and even our identities. When we make mistakes, our minds can become overwhelmed with guilt, shame, and regret. These emotions are forms of suffering that arise when we cling to the past or try to undo what cannot be changed. The more we dwell on our past mistakes, the more we allow these emotions to dictate our thoughts, actions, and overall well-being. In Buddhist teachings, we are encouraged to understand the impermanent nature of all things. Everything in life is transient, including our thoughts and emotions. Just as a cloud in the sky is temporary, so too are the memories of our mistakes. When we learn to recognize this impermanence, we can begin to let go of our attachment to the past. 2. Mindfulness and present moment awareness. One of the core practices in Buddhism is mindfulness, which involves paying attention to the present moment without judgment. By practicing mindfulness, we can cultivate awareness of our thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations. This practice helps us observe how our minds are often caught in the cycle of past memories, but it also empowers us to shift our attention back to the present moment. To stop worrying about past mistakes, we must first recognize when we are dwelling on them. When we notice that our mind is fixated on a past event, we can gently bring our focus back to the present moment. For example, if you find yourself thinking about a mistake you made, try to bring your attention to your breath, the sounds around you, or the sensations in your body. This shift in focus can help break the cycle of rumination and bring a sense of calm. Mindfulness also teaches us to approach our thoughts with non-attachment. This means that instead of identifying with our regrets or allowing them to define us, we simply observe them as passing phenomena. Thoughts come and go, and we do not have to cling to them. By practicing mindfulness, we can gradually free ourselves from the grip of past mistakes and learn to accept the impermanence of our thoughts and feelings. 3. The power of compassion and self-forgiveness. In Buddhism, compassion is a central virtue. Compassion is not only for others but also for ourselves. Many people struggle with self-forgiveness, especially when they feel they have made serious mistakes. However, the Buddha's teachings encourage us to be compassionate toward ourselves, just as we would be toward a friend who is suffering. Self-forgiveness is essential for healing and letting go of past mistakes. When we hold on to guilt and shame, we perpetuate our suffering. However, when we practice self-compassion, we begin to understand that we, like everyone else, are imperfect beings who make mistakes. It is part of the human experience. By acknowledging our flaws and forgiving ourselves, we can free ourselves from the burden of regret and move toward healing. The practice of loving kindness is also closely related to self-compassion. Loving kindness involves cultivating feelings of goodwill and love for ourselves and others. When we make a mistake, instead of criticizing ourselves harshly, we can offer ourselves words of kindness and understanding. We can say to ourselves, "May I be happy," May I be free from suffering. May I learn from this experience. Through these practices, we learn that we do not need to be perfect to be worthy of love and compassion. Mistakes are opportunities for growth, not evidence of our inadequacy. 4. Embracing impermanence and letting go. One of the most profound teachings in Buddhism is the concept of impermanence, anicca. All things are constantly changing, including our thoughts, feelings, and circumstances. The Buddha taught that everything we experience is in a state of flux. This means that no matter how painful or difficult a moment may seem, it will eventually pass. When we hold on to past mistakes, we are resisting the flow of life. We are clinging to something that no longer exists in the present. Embracing the truth of impermanence allows us to let go of our attachment to the past. We can recognize that our mistakes are part of our journey, but they do not define who we are. The past is gone, and all we have is the present moment. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha says, "Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." By letting go of the past and focusing on the present, we can break free from the cycle of regret and live with greater peace and clarity. 5. The importance of right understanding. Right understanding is one of the key components of the Noble Eightfold Path in Buddhism. It refers to understanding the true nature of reality, including the Four Noble Truths and the impermanent nature of all things. When we have right understanding, we can see that our mistakes are not permanent or fixed, but part of our learning process. Buddhism teaches that all beings are capable of change. We are not bound by our past actions, and we have the potential to transform our minds and hearts. Our mistakes are not who we are. They're simply experiences that can teach us valuable lessons. By understanding this, we can let go of the need to undo the past and instead focus on how we can learn and grow from our experiences. Right understanding also helps us develop wisdom, which allows us to see the interconnectedness of all things. Our mistakes, like everything else, are part of a larger process of cause and effect. When we understand this interconnectedness, we can release the notion of blame and guilt and instead approach life with a sense of curiosity and openness. 6. Cultivating a growth mindset. Buddhism encourages us to view our mistakes not as failures, but as opportunities for growth. This is similar to the concept of a growth mindset, which was popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck. A growth mindset involves viewing challenges and setbacks as chances to learn and improve. When we make a mistake, instead of focusing on how we failed, we can ask ourselves, what can I learn from this experience? How can I become a better person because of it? This shift in perspective allows us to stop worrying about the past and focus on the future with hope and determination. The Buddha's teachings emphasize the importance of right effort, which involves making a consistent effort to cultivate wholesome qualities and abandon unwholesome ones. By applying right effort to our personal growth, we can transform our mistakes into stepping stones on the path to enlightenment. 7. The power of right action and ethics. In Buddhism, ethical conduct plays a crucial role in how we relate to ourselves and others. The Buddha taught that by cultivating right action and living in accordance with ethical principles, we can reduce suffering and create a more harmonious life. Right action involves living in a way that aligns with the 5 precepts: refraining from killing, stealing, lying, engaging in sexual misconduct, and using intoxicants. These guidelines promote actions that are mindful, compassionate, and aligned with our deepest values. When we make a mistake, one of the most helpful ways to stop worrying about the past is to engage in ethical actions moving forward. Instead of focusing on guilt or regret, we can use the experience of the mistake to inspire us to make better choices in the present and future. By committing to right action, we are able to demonstrate our growth, compassion, and wisdom, which helps heal the past and leads to a more peaceful life. The practice of right action also includes practicing honesty with ourselves. We must accept our mistakes without trying to deceive ourselves or hide from our past actions. By acknowledging our errors, we can take responsibility for them and seek to repair any harm we may have caused. This responsibility is not about punishing ourselves, but about cultivating wisdom, learning from the mistake, and striving to do better in the future. This process of ethical living is a powerful way to release the hold of past mistakes. Instead of being trapped in feelings of guilt or shame, we shift our focus to building a positive future. As the Buddhist said, it is not what you think, but what you do that counts. Through right action, we can move beyond our past, grow in compassion, and work toward a more ethical, harmonious life. 8. Living with peace and acceptance. In Buddhism, the goal is not to eliminate all mistakes or avoid suffering, but to develop the wisdom and mindfulness to respond to life with equanimity and acceptance. By understanding the impermanent nature of all things, practicing mindfulness